Beauty is the source of emotional clarity. It is the place where we can go when we get wounded and we need to find ourselves. We need to reorient ourselves in the context of something which is inherently ours but has been lost. So it's not dissimilar. In fact, it's very similar to the wilderness experience, where we go outside naked into the wilderness and we see what the wilderness has for us. We cannot command the wilderness to provide a certain result. We must go out there and accept what it is we have been brought, what we are to do. You can go out into the wilderness and go out there with your camper and all the facilities of modern life, but that's not going to get you the result that you are going to be hoping for. You can be a tourist, but you're not going to find out what it is that constitutes a wilderness experience. The same thing with beauty. When we go out and confront the world, we are looking for something that will give us a touchstone, a place to find connection where we can discover who it is we are in the image of. And beauty is the divine image. It is the image that comes to us most naturally. It is the place where we go and we can measure things. Are they beautiful or are they maybe not so much? I think in the experiences that we have when we get wounded and we are emotionally off balance and things are not going our way and we don't emotionally have a way to connect to those things, it's important for me to be able to go back to find the place of my experience of beauty. Because that's where I can find myself. That's where I find out my connection to the divine. The divine hierarchy is a beautiful place. And my own experience with my own angel has confirmed that to me in so many different ways. In that context with my angel, I felt beautiful. And that little moment has been with me for my entire life. And when I want to go back and reorient myself and figure out what it is that I need to be thinking and doing, I go back to that moment of beauty and clarity of my emotions. And all seems to be much better. Sometimes in the context of my personality, I sort of look for that orientation. But in the end, there is no orientation that comes from personality that's going to do very much to help us out. In fact, it is, in my experience, that my most dire and disastrous moments have come through the collapse of my own personality. And inevitably, that will happen. It's supposed to happen. Nothing else is meant to happen because personality cannot contain the image of our being. It's beauty that contains that image. And we are beautiful. And we connect with that beauty and we find ourselves in the place of great contentment and satisfaction and awe. Because beauty is the place where we connect. It is a most visible thing because it's an emotional thing. It's not a rational thing. I had thought for a bit to talk about some beautiful things, but it's not possible to do it that way. So you have to find the beauty in your life and connect to that and stay there. I think sometimes of the therapeutic experience, I've been there a couple of times. And in the end, you get to air out what it is that's going on with you. And the real connection is not to re-engage your personality. It's to set down your personality. That's the real challenge. Sorting out your personality is not the place where we're going to find much, at least in my experience. Where we find a lot is when we set down our personality and we begin to embrace what is beautiful. If you want to know if something is healthy for you, you have to ask yourself, as I ask myself, is that a beautiful idea? Does that bring me closer to the divine? Is it beautiful? Or is it clever? And is it alluring? I mean, that's what we see in Hollywood. We see cleverness and alluring, and the most beautiful people are brought into this environment, and somehow they are corrupted because their connection to beauty has been severed. They no longer appreciate and understand the nature of their own beauty, and so it becomes something a little different. It becomes celebrity and popularity and money and applause. And they have set down beauty for the sake of their personality. And so we all know what happens. I mean, it's just so inevitable, that the personalities that are so vaunted, so lofted into the atmospheres collapse. They are deflated and they fall to earth. So how do you avoid that? How do you find yourself soaring in the divine hierarchy in your most natural way? It is through beauty. It's through your wilderness work. It's through connecting with the divine hierarchy in such a way that you begin to understand who you are and why you feel what you feel and what are the feelings that are the most appropriate for the moment you're in, given who you are. There is an authenticity there that comes from beauty, and it is a candle by which we can see ourselves. It is that place that is the center of meditation. That is what this meditation is about. It is about me understanding the necessity of my own beauty as it relates to a successful life in obedience to my calling. And that's what I seek to pass on to you through these meditations and reflections. They're incomplete, but they're for you to finish, for you to consider, and for you to use as perhaps, as you want to, a way to begin to enter into a new conversation with who you are and who you want to be. Amen.